Yolie, where we talk about all things love. Fall into the vortex with Yolie. Fall into the vortex.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our final episode of Fall into Love from the Vortex with Yolanda Sealey-Ruiz, our incredible author and poet. I am so happy. My name is Gholdy Muhammad, and I am Yolanda's best friend
Yes, you
who's
are.
been with her through the whole Vortex. And I get the opportunity to interview you, Yolie, for this final episode. And we are going to dish. We're getting into the nitty and gritty. We are
Uh-oh.
going to spill all the tea because
Am I?
you're always reading your tea bags. Remember, you say what your tea bags teach you in
Yes.
life?
I used to send those texts, didn't I? First of all, I'm so excited to be in front of my bestie. And thank y'all for tuning in. For those of you who watched from the beginning, this is such a blessing to have episode number 20 and to have Gholdy Muhammad, my bestie, be the host. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
yeah. And we're best friends because we dress alike, as you can see.
Excuse
And we
me.
have matching earrings. Tell us about these earrings, Jolie.
Okay, y'all. And for some of you out there, last year, y'all know I rented out the Alhambra Ballroom in Harlem and had a 1980s themed party. Hence my Adidas, hence the hoops. And since Goldie and I just do everything together, she is so gracious as a best friend. She was host of the party. And so this was our outfit. We were decked out in Adidas from head to toe with our hoop earrings and just really taking it back to the 80s. So this is us, actually. This is us in more ways than one.
Yes, yes, yes. And my dear best friend, you have written an incredible book, Love from the Vortex. This book has given so many people joy,
Mm.
love, and sort of comfort in their own skin. You have made two of the most powerful words you can tell someone I heard once is "me too," because so many people think that they're the only ones that go through something or experience something. And through your writing and your book, you made us feel like it's okay. I'm not the only one that's been through it. And it's okay. And you can come out of it. You can love yourself. And so, let me start with like, before we get into the nitty gritty, the real good details of love, I want to say this book is like a whole love letter to the world. Uh, what do you like most about the process of writing it and what it has done for other people? Talk to me
Wow.
about that first.
Okay, so you were serious that we're going in deep. Actually, the book wrote itself. And Goldie, you know a little bit about this because I was actually writing the last four chapters, really with you being the witness of it. So we would sometimes be on the phone and we would be talking about what I was going through, some of the things you were going through. And then it would hit me that I'd had to get off the phone and write a poem. Then I would call you back and say, Sissy, this is what came out. But the earlier parts of the book really came from my journals. I have about 15 years worth of journals, and I actually have journals that are centered around themes. And so, when I first was experiencing issues with my husband at the time, I started a journal on that. And a lot of these poems came out of that journal. So it really wrote itself. And I won't say too much more about the production of it because there will be an episode, or there was an episode, the previous one to this, with Team Vortex. And I tell the story of how the book came to be. So in terms of the process, I want to say honestly, and not just because you're here with me, but having you be the worthy witness of these poems as they came out of me, um, that was the best part of the process, having someone to share it with. But what I'm most grateful for are the emails, the texts, the WhatsApps, the voice memos of people saying how this has touched their lives and really lifted them up in this time of the COVID.
Yeah, beautiful. And you captured the stories of six men. right? I want to know a little bit more about these men first. I mean, I know something about them from what poems you chose to write about them. But which of these men would you say are the funniest?
The funniest. Probably Angel. Angel has this kind of dark humor, which I love. Um, Super funny, super sharp. Joseph is also very funny. He's got that intellectual humor. You know what I mean? But in terms of, it would have to be Zarin. Zarin, and you know a little bit about Zarin. He's probably the funniest of all. All right, so let me rewind that. Zarin gets the funniest award, the funniest lover award, for sure.
You know, we used to laugh a lot with Zarin. I don't know, we were laughing with him or at him, but we used to laugh a lot. Which one of the men is like your closest friend right now?
My closest friend right now.
Yeah.
Probably Angel, because we spent about 26 years together. And right behind that would be Joseph, because we've known each other for about 18 years. And I literally can say anything to him at any moment, in any time.
Mm-hmm. Which one would you write a book, a best-selling book with? Which one would you co-author your next book about love with?
Who would I write it with?
Yeah.
It would probably be Salvador. I think number one, Salvador would be willing. These questions are amazing, by the way. I think Salvador would be willing, and Salvador is such a special person, has such a special place in my heart. And he pulled me into the Vortex. So I think by right, he should be the one that would co-author a book with me.
So we get a little bit into the men who have chosen you and you have chosen as well. What are your must-haves for qualities in a romantic partner?
Wow. Well, you know, I think I'm ready for this question because going through the Vortex and looking at the men, I've taken qualities from each of them, right? To, I think, and this is not about someone being perfect, but this is about what Yolie needs. So, sense of humor, super important to me. But before sense of humor, they have to love Blackness.
Mm-hmm,
There
mm-hmm.
must be a love for Black people. There must be a love for our plight. There must be a depth of understanding, Gholdy, about the plight of Black people within this country. You have written this amazing book, Cultivating Genius. This person has to recognize that Black equals genius.
Yeah.
That's out the gate, straight out the gate.
Yeah.
And then we need to laugh together because, as you know, the way that you are, like almost a stand-up comic, I'm like right behind you. Laughter, 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 because I'm kooky, I'm quirky, and I need somebody that understands that, right? So pretty much, Gholdy, everything I'm describing is what you give me in a best friendship. So to answer the question abbreviatedly, they just need to be you in male form. How about that?
All right. Maybe with a deeper voice. Okay, Yolie, what you have been dating, and the book, part of your dating experience, this book came from it. What advice would you give someone who is like getting out there and ready to date?
Wow. Number one, love yourself. Number two, be patient. You know, part of me and what the Vortex and also Vipassana meditation has helped me with just being a little less impulsive. Being impulsive is not necessarily a negative, you know, all things at the right time. But I think being patient, loving yourself, being patient with the moment, knowing that if God has someone for you, that person will come. And you don't have to rush it, and you don't have to prove, and this is what I found myself doing. Look at how great I am. Look at how kind I am, how wonderful I am. No, I just need to sit still in myself and allow the moment to reveal, the moment and the moments to reveal exactly who I am. And I will know that it's the right person because they will understand that as well.
What's the best place to meet somebody?
Well, I got to say this. I won't laugh at online because I actually met Zarin online. I think the best place to meet someone is through someone who knows you and they connect you. And I thought that was working because I met Tyrone through two people that I love dearly, dearly, dearly. But it's also to say that you can think that you know two people and they'll be great together. But, hey, people are individuals. People are individuals. And in my case, if the person hasn't done the self-work or they're not in the same kind of mindset that I am about working out things together, being vulnerable, it doesn't matter how much someone else knows you and puts you together. It's going to reveal that you're not meant to be together, no matter what. And it doesn't make that person not a nice person. It doesn't make you not a nice person. It just wasn't meant to be. But I would prefer to meet someone through someone who knows that person and knows me. Although there is someone that I guess I'm kind of interested in that I did meet online, but it's moving slowly, and I'm letting it move slowly.
So have you ever had like if a guy has ever like had a funny pickup line with you, or like said something really like what's the craziest line that a guy has said to you when he was trying to court you or get to know you?
Okay, this is probably from my younger years. I want you to be the mother of my baby. Just what you talking about? I think like that, but something says I don't want to even start analyzing that. I thought it was funny as hell. But I also have come to understand that people say things, even in jest, that they deeply desire. And I came to understand more about that person, and not to get too heavy, but that person had been with someone and, they were pregnant. The partnership was, they had a pregnancy, but the woman lost the pregnancy. And that actually was the reason that they broke up. So even something in jest, even if it comes off as a pickup line, there's something still deep within folks when they do things. There's a motivation there in the things that we say and the way that we act. So that was probably the strangest and the funniest. But then when I came to understand that person, I got it.
Finish this line. Men are blank, but they're also blank.
Oh, you are just, whew, I hope I'm not going to get in trouble after this show. Men are blank, but they're also blank. Men are different than women for sure, but they are also vulnerable and insecure and are not allowed to show it. And I think I think it's socially acceptable for us to talk openly about our sadness, talk openly about, the things that hurt us. And I think I know men experience those same things, but they're not socialized to really have it be acceptable. I'm seeing some shift in it, particularly in this Zoom world. If you look at some of these different seminars, and I go in a lot of seminars where there are Black men and specifically Black men speaking with and to each other. And I want to give a shout out to Brother Tyrone Douglas, who is brilliant and really has a way of pulling Black men together to talk about their desires, their vulnerabilities. But I think for the most part, most men are not comfortable with it because they've not been made to feel comfortable with that. Thank you for that question.
Of course. So you also have a favorite love song by Stevie Wonder. Do you know that song? Of course you know that song. I know that song.
I have a few, but if you really love me, won't you tell me?
Very good. So in this song, let's test your knowledge of how much you really know and love this song.
All right.
So this song, and we got a chance to hear Stevie together for your birthday. And, Stevie only played a few songs. It was like an hour, hour or two show. I mean, it was a short show. And I'm like, oh, out of all his collections, there's no way he's going to play my best friend's songs for a birthday concert.
And thank you for the tickets, by the way.
And he played this song. So he says, the song goes, if you really love me, won't you tell me? Right? So he says, you call my name. Ooh, so sweet. What's the next line?
To make your kisses complete.
All right, very good.
clear.
When your mood is clear.
You quickly change your way.
Very good. Oh, girl, you sound good. Then you say, I'm untrue.
What am I supposed to do? Be a fool?
Who sits
Alone,
alone
waiting
waiting
for you.
for you.
Nope.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, but that won't be Yolie.
I've been stood up. Have you ever been stood up like on a date?
No, I'm sorry that you were stood up, Sissy. No, I've never been stood up on a date. But remember, I knew how to be married. Dating was new for me. I was married.
Dating was new for you. I remember I
Married
had
for
to give,
26 years.
go through like the do's and the don'ts.
I had a date for 26 years, Sissy. So no, I wasn't stood up. And so when I started, after divorce, started dating, I only had a few. And, you know, they showed up.
Mm-hmm.
They did.
They did. And life goes on.
Yeah, they better had showed up.
You might get stood up and meet somebody at the restaurant.
See, that's when you are, that's that movie Sliding Doors. Remember that movie Sliding Doors?
Uh-huh.
This is not a movie review, but suffice it to say, just be open. And one thing you know about me, Sissy, I am open and I am always fully present in the moment.
You are. And that's the major thing I love about you. And I'm going to get to that one thing I love most about you. But first, I want to ask you one more question, then I'm going to ask you to share a poem.
Okay.
What do you know now that you wish you could have told your younger self when it comes to love and dating and romance?
It's going to be the resounding words, sis, love myself and know that I'm beautiful. When I was younger, I was always very thin, very, very like stick rail thin. And I had some consciousness, I was subconscious about that. And of course, as we get older and we put on a little bit more weight, I'm thinking I would give anything, to be that weight. And the reality is, no, all weight is beautiful. All bodies are exactly where they're supposed to be in the time and the moments and phases that we're in. And what I would tell my younger self is to appreciate and love yourself at every stage along the way, because it will change. What Vipassana taught me is that all of this is impermanent. So all of these stages are just that, just stages and phases of life. Just love yourself along the way.
That's such beautiful advice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why don't you share a poem with us now, and we can talk a little bit about it, and then I have more questions.
Okay, so I do have a poem, and I have a poem that I don't really read that much, and it's in the other poems. It's the very first poem in the other poems section.
Okay.
And it's called Icarus. All right, tell me when you're ready. It's on page 143.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay, Icarus. If only I could transport myself into your arms when you needed to hold me, I would try to be held. The distance between us sometimes feels unbearable, too much to handle after a day in the life that requires all of me. Your arms are respite, your eyes peace-like, the sound of a babbling brook lullabying me into slumber. You are a ray of sunshine that I would offer my wings to.
That's beautiful.
Thank you,
Did you
sister.
say you're like the kind of woman who falls in love a lot?
Yeah, I love love. And because I have an open heart. But when I fall in love, I am ready to stay in love. It's not like I'm falling in and out. I'm loyal, very loyal, and very honest. And that's what hurts me the most, I think, when the person in the relationship is not loyal and honest.
Mm-hmm. Why'd you choose that poem to read to us now for your final episode?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of some of the men, and it also is a poem that is very clear on my desires, right? Of in those moments when we feel most lonely or most sad or had great accomplishments, it's great to be in love with someone so they can hold you and they can be there for all those moments, the happiest moments, the saddest moments. And, it's a nod to Icarus, in the Greek mythology tradition, who, I'll make it short, but, he and his family had been imprisoned in Crete. And his father, I forget the father's name, but he was a craftsman. And in order to escape from prison, the father, Daedalus is his name, said, he's going to create some wings, right, so that they could fly and escape prison. And so Icarus was his son, and he received his wings and he flew, and they escaped prison, but he loved the feeling of flight. And he had this desire that, wow, I'm so close to God. Perhaps I can be God myself.
Mm.
And he flew so high, and he flew too close to the sun. And the sun melted his wings and he fell to his death.
Mm.
And so I think that it both embodies, this poem embodies many of the men and the moments that I had with them, but also what the vortex did to me, right? At one point, of desiring and wanting love so much that it became a devastating moment for me. That it actually harmed me. And there was a bit of a metaphorical death, right? That I experienced.
Yeah, and that happens to a lot of us.
What's
right?
that? What's that?
That happens to a lot of us. We want it so badly in the time that we think is our time. It may not be our time, but we think it's our time. We want it so badly that we are willing to sort of like put up with stuff or be unhappy or all these things. And so I get that too.
Yeah, and we've done that, Sissy. I mean, that was us in the vortex together. And
We were in the vortex together.
that's
And
right. In the previous episode with D Jackson, you talked about us being in the vortex together. And I thank you for going publicly with that, because I don't know if I would have been able to, if I didn't have poetry and I didn't have you. I don't know if I would have been, if I would still be in the vortex, still trying to find my way out. So a combination of therapy, certainly prayer, belief in God, meditation, and my conversations with you got me out of the vortex.
Yeah, I want everyone to have our type of friendship or better, whatever, or a Yolie in their lives, because I don't think I could have gotten out of anything. It's funny because you talk about, my favorite quality about you is that you are so open to love and to love and to love and to love again. And like when we're best friends, so we dated people at the same time, and sometimes we would break up at the same time.
We always did. It was
crazy at the same time. It was seriously how we knew what was going to happen next based on what happened to me or you.
Yes.
And I just remember, like, sometimes like talking to brothers, and I would be like done. I mean, of course, I dated longer than you have. And so I would just be done. And one thing I always loved about you is like, no matter what happened, it was like, you were just like this tulip or rose in the springtime that would just say, okay, I'm ready again. I'm opening my heart. And I'd be like, for real. And when I first met you, like the very first day we met, I remember just telling you like, wow, I love you were giving a presentation about Blackness and education and, all the things that you know and love. And I just remember saying like, wow, to hear your voice, there's something beautiful about your presentation. And thank you. I just thanked you so much. And then later that day, you saw me by the escalator and you gave me your card and you said, here's my card. And if you need anything, you looked me deep in my eyes and didn't know me, first time us meeting. And you said, if you need anything, I mean, anything, you call me. I don't care what it is. And I'm like, and I deeply, I'm kind of laughing because if you think about like a stranger coming up to you saying that, you might think like, really? But I just remember like in that moment, I believed you. I didn't know you. I didn't know anything about you. I didn't know if you were for real. I just know you looked me deep in my eyes. It's like you knew that you were going to be my best friend. And boy, did you pull me out of a lot.
And the same.
Pain, a divorce. I bet you didn't think you would be helping me with all that stuff when you said all those nights I called you crying and like, bestie. I bet you didn't know at that escalator that you would be helping me as much as you did, but you said you would, and you kept your word.
Oh,
And that's what love does. Love keeps your word. So many people are broken and sad and heartbroken because somebody did not keep their word. The honesty that you had from the beginning, you represented love, and you always represent love for me. And even, I don't care what kind of love it is, you always are so gracious and forgiving of yourself and others. And you just open up again like springtime.
oh my God.
How beautiful it is to be you. I don't know anybody like you. I don't even know how you're so beautiful. It feels like not as human. It feels like a greater level of humanity is who you are. And so how do you do it? How do you open yourself? I mean, is it just a gift from God? Is it something you're intentional about? How do you open up again for love over and over and over again? I love you,
In
sis.
a moment to take in everything that you just said,
I said a lot, I know.
and I love you.
I love you too.
Um, and I know that, and you've shown that over and over, even in this moment. I want to say it's how God made my heart. And I also want to say that I believe in humanity. Ultimately, I believe that people, when things happen to them, it turns them a certain way, and that could have easily been me. So while I say I believe that it's how God made my heart, it is also a choice. I choose not to live in bitterness. Because love is fantastic. I mean, you know that. Gholdy, you experience it. You know how beautiful it is, even when you have the arguments or all of the vicissitudes, the up and downs of relationship. It is a beautiful thing to be in love. Why
Mm-hmm.
would I not want to have myself open to that? Why? Why would I close myself off to something that makes me feel so alive?
Mm-hmm.
And so I do believe God has given me a forgiving heart. I am a forgiving person, but I also don't want people to be fooled because it's also Lala from the block that's in me,
There
right?
is.
And because I am loving in that way, the Lala from the block is very upfront. And so she will tell you exactly how things are. And that is also loving, to tell the truth in love, right? To not cut somebody off and not tell them why. I won't do that. Because if you've hurt me, I'm going to let you know that you hurt me. And then we can just move on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a form of love too, right? So I try to live in this space of love in all of its iterations. And that allows me to be free, Gholdy.
Mm-hmm. You could tell you one of those women that never bleached anybody's clothes or set stuff on fire.
I don't know if you know that.
It'll be a secret.
And that
Okay.
take it to my grave.
So these questions are the lightning round. They're fast and
Oh my
furious.
gosh.
You got to answer quickly and think on your feet. Let's see how quick you are. You ready?
I am ready. I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready. Yes.
Getting to know someone new, talking over the phone or writing love letters.
Talking over the phone.
Idris or Denzel?
Idris.
Yeah, me too, sissy. We might have to fight over
Yeah.
him.
Okay.
That's my boo. Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Yeah, why?
I'm thinking about like when we went to Cuba and all the places that we've been on the beach. We love it. It gets hot, but you know, it's beautiful. The ocean, the water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Gorgeous.
yeah. Love or lust?
Love.
Physical looks or brains?
Rains. Oh, physical looks or brains? Ooh,
Which one do you want
can
more?
I have both?
You can have both, but if you had to pick one first, because you can have it all.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna be honest. You know, the Libra in me is into the visual. I'm a visual learner. I'm gonna have to say.
Yeah, I know. Spoiler alert, I know the answers to all of these,
Yeah.
but they don't. They need to know it.
Yes.
James Baldwin or Toni Morrison?
Both. I will not choose. I cannot choose.
I knew you would say that.
Yeah.
Bronx or Gary, Indiana?
The Bronx.
Gary.
Gary.
Indiana needs a physical hand symbol.
It does. The Bronx. But yes, you're from Gary, so I love Gary, but I'll have to choose hometown of the Bronx.
Of course you do. Darkness or light?
Darkness.
Poetry or short stories?
Poetry.
Hoops or stud earrings? Zarin or Tyrone? Got real serious all of a sudden.
Neither.
Well, you know what? If you can have both, you can have neither. Not only is the flame gone, I threw away the candlestick. I wanted to add a curse word after that song, but
I know the curse word too, but we're not gonna do that.
We're not gonna do it. You can tell who's the friends, who's the more peaceful, who's about to
Cut somebody.
Yes. Spring or autumn?
Spring.
Fire or water?
Water.
Vortex or peace?
Peace.
You want to read us another poem?
Oh, Sissy, yes. Wow. Thank you for this moment. It's a long one, but it is one of my favorites. And it took me about 3 minutes to write. For the past 2 years, I've been having a conversation with myself that goes something like this. Yolie, you have to teach someone how to love you. You have to know what you need and believe you are deserving of the love you desire. Never have I felt the passion of these words more than the moments that I spend with you. Months seem like minutes, and minutes are never enough when I am in the presence of you. Your boldness to share what you want has inspired me to write my own list of desires. Unafraid and with a refusal to be shamed, I admit that I want someone to love me in an R&B love song kind of way.
Hey.
I want someone to hold my hand when the cold wraps me up in an icy sweater and on the hottest day of the year. I want someone's eyes to spark at the sight of mine like I'm the greatest light show in July. I want someone to smile as wide as the Grand Canyon when I call or text. I want someone worth seeing the Grand Canyon with. I want someone who goes to the Grand Canyon with me, but still thinks I'm the best view. I want someone to think of me morning, noon, and night. I want someone to think of me when they see another couple holding hands, the sun caressing their faces. I want someone to miss me. I want someone who hits me up on the daily first, always a good morning text and a how was your day phone call when they can't make it in person. I want someone to touch me in places that I am too shy to ask. I want someone that I can trust all of the private spaces on my body with, all of the places in my mind, my soul. I want someone to kiss me into high vibrations, transform my mood, and make me close my eyes just at the very thought of his soft lips on mine. I want someone to cry with, laugh with, do with, be with. I want someone to unzip my dress at the end of the night, to slip off my heels, to come undone with. I want someone to hold, to whisper things only the impulsive me says, without control, without judgment, only with ease. I want someone to embrace my togetherness, my stick-to-itness. I want someone to want me just as much as I want him. Not more, not less, but in a way that is even, balanced, limitless. I want someone who will not run, who will hold my love with care and say, thank you for trusting me with this.
Ooh, so many kernels in that poem. And I love watching you. You know, you would start at 5 a.m. and read me your poems. You would call me and say, Sissy, I just wrote this poem. And I'm like, girl, let me get up. Let me wake up. But I love hearing your voice on your poems and seeing the joy and the peace and the contentment that you have when you read your experiences, your stories. I mean, because that's what you're reading. And you're also reading our stories. You know, we are all connecting and feeling that R&B song. We all want that.
That's right.
We all deserve. I mean, it's the best advice to say that we are deserving of the love we desire. You know, even if we have to tell ourselves that over and over and over again, we are deserving of the love we desire. That's so beautiful.
Mm.
So here is, what do you think about that poem? Anything that stands out to you?
You know, it is, I actually wrote it after having lunch with Tyrone one day downtown. But it had been kind of hitting in my, staying in my head because we had a conversation a few days before, and we were talking about what are the things that we want in a relationship and in a partner. And that stuck with me. And I had lunch with him, or maybe after that conversation, the poem came and I remember reading it to him while we were at lunch. But he was the one that I had in mind. And so although I would have to say that he probably hurt me the most out of all of them, I still have fond thoughts and memories, and my heart is free and clear when I read this poem, although he was the one who initiated it and the one who hurt me the most and betrayed me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm always reminded that two things can be true. People can give you love and they can give you hurt. So here's my last question, because, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, because we have so much always to say. But if you could have one person on season 2, it could be someone who's no longer living, someone you've never met, your dream season 2, fall into love from the Vortex with Yolie guest. I mean, it could be one of the 6 men from the book, but who would be your dream guest?
Well, that's the best question and the best last question, because I actually have been talking to some of the men, and I think that some of them will be on season 2, but they will not come on. We know these are pseudonyms. They will not reveal themselves. These are,
will they talk like, on the news? I remember when I went on a date. Will they do that in like their faces like black? That's
a possibility. But no, all of these men are successful in their own right. Success, it means something different for different people. So when they come on, they will be talking in terms of the work that they do. And you will not know that they are the ones. So I'm working on it. But to answer your question, I'd love to have Zarin on.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd love to have Zarin. Zarin is funny. You remember he won the Funny Lover Award. He's smart, he's confident.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, that Michael Jackson meme when he's eating the popcorn from Thriller. That's gonna be me when Zarin's on.
This is a great setup for season 2.
I mean, I thought you were gonna say Stevie Wonder. I left it open. I left it wide open.
You did leave it open, but I have some great guests on my list. Don't know if they can make it, but you know me, I put it out in the world, and I'm talking about everyone from celebrity status to hopefully Olivia.
Yeah, that'd be beautiful.
Interview Olivia.
Yeah. Well, when I think of love and when I think of a person, I think of you. You are such a a representative of love. And I always say I have two real loves of my life, and you are one of them. And I want to say thank you for being one of the loves of my life, Yolie. And thank you for love from the Vortex.
Thank you. I love you so much, Gholdy. And thank you for agreeing to be the host of
I'm
the last
honored.
episode of season 1. This book, in addition to the 6 and me, this book could not have been written without you. Thank you. I love you. And viewers, thank you for hanging with me for 20 episodes of season 1. We'll see you in season 2.
See you in season 2.
Good night, everyone.